go now, Kenny?
Well, just a second.
Hello, and welcome to the Loose Butthole Reviews. I am your host, Smokey, and joining with me, as always, is my co-host, Spooge.
Hello.
Oh, and before we get into the movie, like always, I gotta fucking give our 3 rules. Our first rule is our rating must be a out of 5, 1 being we hate it, 5 being we love it. Our second rule is if we want our money back, we give it a good old Jeff Goldblum rating. And number 3, if we agree that the movie deserves a 6 out of 5, a god tier, we'll give it one. Oh, and today we are reviewing the Muppet movie from 1979. Oh. And like always, before we get into the review proper, before we can give our ratings. Oh, mine is a 4.5 out of 5.
Ditto.
We agree. It's another movie where we agree. Our rating matches. Ain't that something?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it was kind of hard. It was kind of hard to dock the thing, but just in context of, because I definitely have a very large. I mean, I've seen this since like earliest of memories. I've watched this film.
Yeah, that's why I had to dock up half a point off for me. I strongly wish I had the childhood connection with, like, watching this. I know it would be weird, but I totally get the weird feeling of, man, I wish I grew up watching this with Murda and Spoot. Like, I wish I was there with them while they were watching this. Like, this is something I wish I could experience with them.
Basically how I felt about Dazed and Confused. I'm like, man, I wish I watched this like at like around 14 or like between 14 and 17 or something, like, you know.
Yeah, definitely. It was very disheartening. It's like, oh, I would be enjoying this a lot more if this was like a nostalgic thing that I shared with my friends. But now it's still fucking, even though this is for context, this is my very first time ever seeing this movie.
Right.
It holds up. It holds up. I will have to say I'm glad I watched it as an adult, because if I watched it at a certain point in my childhood, I would have hated this. I would have said the puppets were cheap. I would have said the story was stupid, and fucking Steve Martin being in it. That was a disaster. That would have been a disaster for me as a kid.
But he won you with the shorts this time.
The shorts. They got him in the short. Oh, they know what they did there.
I definitely know that was fucking his choice too.
Yeah. Fucking, that's the thing. I wish I seen him in other things, but I've only seen him in Cheaper by the Dozen and little random.
I fucking hate that movie, and I love Steve Martin, so yeah, I understand.
Fucking, it's like, oh, I don't hate him, but it's like, what I've seen him in, he's not good. I can say this, he's not Chevy Chase. Because Chevy Chase was one of the actors from this time period. I was scared. I was like, it's possible. It might pop up. Hopefully they would have warned me if he was gonna pop.
Yeah, maybe someday we'll look at some of like his actually like good, like well acclaimed like films. Because I've never seen The Idiot, and I know that's like one of his like big comedy ones. You know.
Yeah.
That's the one where he has that big ass nose.
Yeah, I've never. Something about Steve. It just never. It never come up. None of his films have ever come up. He's someone that I can recognize for sure.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's that guy.
Well,
but,
I used to watch as a kid too, like a lot of old SNL. So like I loved him from that. He's one of the OGs, like, you know, of Belushi era. Hello?
Oh, yeah, fucking, I'm still here.
Oh, good. Just making sure. I'm like, oh, did the internet just go out because of the thunder?
No. I was, unfortunately, I got distracted by a message.
Oh, you're all good. But yeah. That, because compared with this movie, like I love this movie. It's definitely one of my top of Jim Henson's. Though I still think there's actually I think that it's either the second or third Muppet movie that's actually a lot funnier. Like it goes a little bit. They go a lot more balls to the fucking wall, with
Yeah,
just like the insanity.
this definitely was.
This one was a lot more calm than I remembered. I'm like, oh yeah, this is like very like this is very
I
chill
know
for a
why
Muppets
though.
movie.
This was the first one. This was their
Mm,
first one. They wanted to make sure that it was nice and safe for the families. I
mm,
completely saw what they were doing with this. I was like,
mm.
oh, this is definitely a family movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I can see why they was allowed to watch this.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mom,
Uh,
yeah, my mom loves this movie. She loves
yeah,
Muppets.
I can completely understand why. It's like, oh, this is nice, safe, clean humor. It's
Hmm.
there's nothing. It can be a little dicey at times. A little. I wouldn't say dicey. It can be a little mature at times,
Yeah,
but they
yeah. It's
do
maybe
it
like something that'll
very
go over people's
respectfully.
heads. Yeah.
Yeah, they
It's
do it
that's very
very.
much just Jim Henson's own kind of like he and I mean this is a good introduction. At some point we need to like watch the Defunct Land videos on it because it really goes into like Jim Henson and like his whole frustration with because I recognized it when you're like, oh, I was like I kind of like wouldn't have liked it when I was a kid, but also like I never got around to it because it was a little like after my time. I thought like I was a little bit too old for it. Which one of his biggest frustrations because he always was trying to tap into that middle market like perfectly. And
Yeah, yeah. I
there's like a because even
unfortunately he.
Jim Henson actually and why like he's connected with Steve Martin too, like he's friends with Steve Martin. And Steve Martin was one of the few people on SNL that actually supported Jim Henson because there was a good era, a good 2 years when Jim Henson actually had a sketch segment on SNL with like actual like his own puppets and stuff. And but they got pushed out because a lot of most actually the majority of people in SNL hated it, hated the Muppets because they took away their time because there's already everyone in SNL is already like hungry and greedy with like who's gonna be the star already, and like
Yeah, and the
and
Muppets would have totally.
Jim Belushi was famous for this quote of what was it I think he said what was it goddamn these mucking puppets.
Oh shit.
And
I
then
can
yeah, they
totally I understand
mm,
that though because if the Muppets became the face of SNL, they would still be the
mm.
face of SNL today.
Yeah, and
Like
it
they
wasn't even
would
the
have
Muppets.
taken
They were
over.
their own like alien thing that they made for that, and it was kind of a weird fit too. It wasn't like a
But
popular
still
sketch, so I wasn't. Mm,
I totally see the fear in that cuz the
hmm
Muppets were this was even though again I unfortunately I do since I was part of the demographic he couldn't tap into. It's just something about the design. It just the puppets. It's just you're
they're adorable.
it's not just that. It's they it even though they're not acting like they're for kids. The as the first impressions you get as soon as you see them is, oh, this is definitely trying to appeal to the younger. This isn't trying to appeal to 13-year-old me. This is trying to
Hmm.
appeal to 5-year-olds. It's
Hmm.
obvious, and as soon as a 13-year-old gets that impression, they're gonna completely shut off. They're not even
Hmm.
gonna attempt to try to get into it. Now some will there will be the exception of they'll be like, this doesn't look like it's for me, but I'll give it a shot. But that will
Hmm.
be that's going to be extremely rare in that demographic because your attention span is so limited to what you need to like in a way.
Yeah.
Like that there's specific things that your personality needs to latch onto, and sometimes this definitely will not be it for that demographic.
Hmm. This is a perfect. I think this movie is like a perfect. You get up on like a Saturday noon. You wake and bake, and you're like, ooh, I kind of want to watch a movie. This is a nice little one to start your day, I think.
Yeah, or if
Like
you
positive, like good,
if
and it's just great for. I think it's a good tripping movie too, honestly,
oh, I would love to trip to this. I was thinking
because the colors are
it would
so
have increased
vibrant
it.
all throughout.
Fucking, but I do have to. I get thinking I had a point. Oh, but this is also would be good if like you got a kid. This is definitely something you can enjoy too while you watch it with your kids, because
Oh
that's what you're
yeah.
supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
This is definitely
And
something.
because that goes to what you're saying, like you how you say like they look like they're great for kids is because they are. So like even if the kid doesn't know what the fuck is going on, it's gonna be like jingling keys in front of them of like, oh, these cute puppets.
Yeah, for sure. They
Look at
definitely will
them
be
wiggling
distracting.
around, look at them going crazy.
The kids aren't even gonna care.
Or unless you're one of the few kids, which is a phenomenon, and it didn't affect me to the point when I'm like, oh, I don't like this, but there was always that kind of like back uncanny valley whenever seeing them walk.
Oh yeah, fucking that.
I
Yeah,
know
some
there's like a lot of
kids.
there's a lot of kids out there that are like
Yeah.
that fear Muppets.
I can see that too. I can totally see
Mm.
that, especially with the one that chases them down
Mm.
because they abandoned. I could totally see
Yeah, when I
that
was a
one
little kid,
being.
he made me nervous. Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally see him being the one that causes the most problems. It's like, oh, because he's big. He's much bigger than the adults that's standing around.
That and Jin, the one that you you kept bringing up from Robot Chicken, the one
Uh,
in Robot Chicken that gets AIDS.
yes. That was ruined for any
She
time.
actually used to scare the shit out of me when I was a little kid, just like looking at her. Because everyone else kind of like looked like a little creature and stuff, and were like different colors, but she was like weirdly human, and like her face was like poking out. I'm like, oh. So I love her
Oh,
name.
I I see. Oh, I wish I could, but Robot Chicken has completely ruined that character for me. Anytime she was on screen, I was just like, God damn, Robot Chicken! Like that's the only thing would pop up was the skit of her coughing. It's
I'm
like, man.
dying.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's all that would pop up, and it's like, man, she would. They did her very dirty on Robot Chicken.
But
They
it
did
is
her
sort of
so.
fitting for the.
Yeah, for the band. To be honest, I know he probably wouldn't have gone that dark, but if Jim Henson ever like lost himself, I totally see him taking him down that route.
People
I
almost thought
totally.
he did, but because he had a show that he tried. Because there's a time again when I was saying that he was real desperate for like, no, Muppets are not just for kids. He actually had a show called Sex, Violence, and Muppets. Except it was totally just still just like the regular Muppet show with slightly, I guess, slightly edgier content, but not really. And it was really weird. Like the title of it was more edgy than anything on it.
He was trying to catch people with the title. That, oh,
Mm.
you get a catchy title, people will actually pay attention, and it's like, no, the
But what
problem
he just doesn't
is
get is that he just naturally has like family type of humor, you know?
that, and he could have designed one Muppet to not be. He could have designed one Muppet that was strictly for that demographic to latch onto,
Yeah.
like a
Hmm.
more punk rocker one, something. I know that it would have been harder during this, but it definitely needed some animal. There needed to be an
I
animal.
remember there was Henry. I remember there was Henry the hipster, but he was before
That
that
wouldn't have
time,
been.
and
What I'm
he was like a jazz dude, and so he had the jazz cigarette.
there. I'm saying there needed to be because there is an animal. Animal is kind of what I'm talking about, but there needed to be an animal that could articulate, that
Yeah.
kids could latch onto, because right now it looks like you're kind of insulting that demographic with animal, instead of
Hmm.
you trying to pray, latch them in, draw them in.
Hmm.
There's a specific word that I'm just not nailing there.
Hmm.
But yeah, that you gotta to get that demographic, you gotta have one person they go, oh, that's me.
Hmm.
That's who I am. I like that person, and they will instantly be into it. But
Hmm.
there's just not for this. It's not.
Yeah.
And to be honest, there's one character. If he wasn't green, like Jim Henson was very smart, and the is he the manager of the band?
Oh,
That character, it's
the
real
orange guy.
dot. The no, it's he's green and he's got an orange beard, I think.
Oh, he's the lead singer and the keyboardist of the
It,
band,
he
the
Jim
organ player of the
Henson
band.
was
Yeah, Dr. Teeth.
very he was very good with that. He that character made me a little
He
nervous.
actually and he voices Dr. Teeth too.
It good. That's good. I saw that. I noticed that. I was like,
Yeah,
there's a
get back
good.
to that.
If they
But
gave, there's a good
mm.
thing they didn't let somebody else ad lib that during this time period, because Doctor Teeth could have went down a whole different route.
Oh yeah.
Could the any time as soon as he popped up on the screen, I was like,
Mhm.
oh, hold on, it's late 70s, early 80s. What are they gonna do?
But yeah, there's more respect with his creation and the fact that I think he's kind of a little bit of a funkadelic, like the
Yeah,
band
yeah, I
Funkadelic
caught on to
Parliament.
it, but like I said again, I wanted to point that out. During this time period, they did very well with that character for doing that, because they could have
Mhm.
done it in a completely distasteless way.
Oh yeah. Oh definitely. Jim Henson
Distasteful.
Jim Henson has been very good at actually of of being of or what do you say? What would you say? What's the phrase of something that of like something that you wouldn't have thought about back then, but like nowadays,
Sensible.
age well. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, he's
his
very
stuff
sensible.
consistently ages well.
Yeah, he was very sensible when it came to his thought process. He thought about everybody.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't just trying to get one specific demographic, which you can't, in the time period, I wouldn't have blamed him for going. I'm just praising that. I'm just saying I gotta give him even more praise, because he didn't go down that route during this time period. It's like,
Mhm. Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
that's great.
But let's
Fucking
go to the music. I would say that even though I've had a pretty nostalgic, like there's a lot of the songs still I'm like, ooh, kind of singing along and stuff, but I never actually listened to my own except for Can You Picture That with Electric Mayhem. That's one of my favorite
I
songs.
I would have to re-listen to the songs, but I don't think I could, like, by itself. I think I would have to rewatch the movie to listen to the songs
Mhm.
again,
Yeah,
because
I
it
definitely
just
can only do Can You Picture That, which is the one that the band plays.
yeah, which is great. And again, it's just being my first watch. I don't know if I could do that.
Oh yeah.
But I could be wrong. I could watch this again, which I am going to be watching this again. This is a movie that is rewatchable. Oh, it is
Mhm.
rewatchable. To be honest, this is one that if I ever have little hellions running around, they're definitely getting a whiff of this before they age too much.
Mhm.
they're
Oh yeah.
getting they're getting the they're getting what I couldn't have, and of course that's nobody's fault but my own. It's just
Mhm.
for some reason, when I watched Sesame Street growing up, not a single episode had the Muppets in. Like, I never seen the Muppets until
Oh
I
yeah,
was
it was
like,
because
it was like
Kermit only like showed up in like two or three episodes of Sesame Street.
well, it wasn't just that. There's other Muppets that actually special guests, like the
Mhm.
Doctor and everything. Like, I never
Oh
saw
yeah,
those episodes. Like,
yeah.
it's like really weird until like I was like 10 years old, and by then it's like I was way too old. Yeah, I looked at the Muppets and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Mhm.
No, I think I was much older, because yeah, the first time I saw the Muppets was 2011. Was when that one Muppets movie started getting advertised. I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck is this? What? This is this is the fourth, fifth Muppet movie? Wait, what? What?" And I looked into it and I was like, "Oh, I do not like how this looks. I ain't watching this."
They also did a show too after it that was pretty much just Office but Muppets.
Yeah,
And it wasn't good.
I would not have seen that. The
And it's like, oh,
2011
why is this
was a
exactly
weird
like
time
Office?
for
And then you
me.
look, it's just Office's writers. I'm like, oh.
2011, I was too busy being emo to care about Muppets. But oh, this this was a good movie. We
Oh
got
yeah.
anything else? What else?
Hmm.
Oh, the fucking the Snake Walker, is Marcus
Oh
Parks.
yeah.
Hey, he doesn't know it,
Frog
but he's
catcher.
got a role.
Yeah. Then for some reason he looks like Cad Bane.
Yeah, that was like holy shit. The fuck.
I wish there was a little bit more with that guy though.
Yeah, they should have gave him more, but I kind of see
They should have
why.
just they should have had him like hunting him on his own and then had shenanigans with that.
Oh, that to be honest, I kind of wouldn't have mind if that would have been the main reason Kermit left the swamp was the snake walkers started fucking hunting him down,
Yeah,
and then he
that's what I'll give this one is like the story. Of course, it's like it's goofy. It's supposed to be kind of all over the place because it's like their little retelling of like what approximately happened of like how they became the Muppets. But
yeah
it's definitely not one that really grabs you as much. It's definitely all over the place. That's why I had to give it a 4.5 because compared to like Emmett Otter's Jug Band Jamboree, a Christmas Jamboree. That's a long title, but that's like a way more solid fucking story. Like with like
gotcha.
and
Yeah,
what I think
you.
is like a really good like realistic thing to like teach children in a positive way that you don't always. I don't want to
Yeah, I
spoil that
will
movie though.
state I was paying attention, but I was definitely cracking a lot more jokes than I probably should have been during this.
Yeah, and he wouldn't really be too lost because it's like you're not really missing exactly like much of the story. It's pretty. You're
Yeah,
just getting
it's
chased around everywhere, and then kind of like the shenanigan to shenanigan.
yeah,
And that,
fucking
or comparing to like Jim Henson's later work, which unfortunately, wait, because it was also his again when we talk about Jim Henson, him being like, oh, I want to bring Muppets to, I want people to take them seriously. I want them to take them seriously. When he made Dark Crystal, and then initially it fucking bombed and did horribly until finally like a
oh,
cult
that's
following like boosted it back up like 10 years later.
that's a movie that I definitely need a redo on. I definitely need a redo on Dark Crystal.
I never wanted to push it because I knew I know it's getting a little bit of emotional.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not that. It's just anytime that I attempted to watch it by myself, there was always a twinge of I didn't fucking do anything to start that. Like it just like the like I don't know what
You need to
started it.
let go. You need to let go.
Yeah, I know, but it just like it's like, man, I really wish I knew what started that one. That's the one that I do not, I can say for a fact wasn't on me. Like I will take fault for almost all of them, but that one. It was like there was no point of it going on during that movie,
Mhm.
especially because you was present. I remember you being there. You was present. Of course, it's probably way too wasted to remember anything going on.
I
But it
don't
was
really
like,
exactly pay attention to the fights.
hey, it wasn't even really. It was just like passively aggressively like being mean towards me for no fucking reason, and I just wasn't handling it well.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't during the. It was like way early into it. It was like
Hmm.
it was like probably like the eighth time me and you hung out.
Hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if that's why I got brought back over.
But yeah, I
Like, hey,
don't.
you gotta get spooge. Let's hang out with spooge.
But yeah, fucking definitely gonna do the Dark Crystal. That's a review that's gonna come up soon.
I mean,
I
yeah.
wouldn't say
If we're gonna go
soon,
down
but
essential favorites, that definitely. Whenever when I made my last proto list of all my favorite movies, I did not take Dark Crystal into an account. That's definitely somewhere in the top five.
yeah, fucking Dark Crystal. I gotta give that a redo. I got to.
I wonder if it's on Disney or if it's still on Netflix. Because Netflix had that
Yeah, that.
original show, which was okay. It
Yeah,
wasn't necessary,
I
but
attempted to get into that too, but I just couldn't because apparently it was a prequel to
yeah, it's
the.
a prequel. You need to.
So
It's you watch it so you could go, oh, that's how that happened, and then that's why it's annoying because Dark Crystal is is kind of like perfectly good in its like vague magic mysteriousness of like only of what it gave. You didn't need
yeah,
all this lore.
that's why I was trying to get into it. I was like, oh, I can watch this, and then I can watch Dark Crystal, and I'll be like, oh, I get fucking everything that's going on. But I just couldn't get into it. I was just like, oh man, I'll give this I'll give this a try in the future. I gotta give this some time because it was literally like a year after everything fell apart.
Oh yeah.
It was just way too soon. I
Mm.
had to give it a little more time, but now I'm feeling it actually. I think it's
Oh,
time.
you better believe anytime you're like, let's do Dark Crystal now. I'd be dropping everything.
But yeah, definitely gotta do that again. But oh, fucking, I think we done did it.
Yeah.
I think we done did it. If you've been listening to the song, thank you so much. Please like, comment, and share the video around. Every little bit helps. You know it does. It's the YouTube spiel. You know I'm gonna say, I hope you subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell. Oh, you know it. You know it. You've heard it a million times. Oh, you got to sign off, Spooge.
Oh, hey, what's your favorite Muppet?
Oh, I
I
cannot
like
answer that right now.
I forget his name. I like the prawn.
I
He's kind of low key,
I
pretty cool.
need
He wasn't in
more.
this
I need more time with them. I need more time with the Muppets to be able to answer that one. Oh, but yeah, put that in the comment section below.
Hey,
And this will be a bye bye.
bye bye.
Yeah, Marty, what do you got? Commercial? How much? Mm-hmm. When? Take it.